All right, quick legal fast break because Damon Wilson II versus UGAA isn't just a lawsuit, it's a stress test for where NIL contracts and the transfer portal are headed next. Here's UGAJ's position in plain English. They're treating this like a straightforward deal. Wilson took the first payment, then hit the portal. And the document says if he transfers, he owes the rest back as liquidated damages, roughly $390,000. Georgia filed in Georgia to compel arbitration. And here's the part that should make every contracts professor sit up. They also asked the court to appoint an arbitrator because the document doesn't even spell out how one gets selected. That's not a side issue, that's the whole ball game. Now, Wilson's position, filed in Missouri, is basically slow down. He says this wasn't a final contract at all. He's calling it a non binding term sheet, the kind that's supposed to lead to a later full agreement. And according to him, that later agreement never happened. And then we get to the arbitration clause, which, brace yourself, is basically 5 words subject to mandatory arbitration clause. Wilson argues that's not an arbitration agreement. It's a reference to an arbitration provision that isn't actually there. You can't enforce a ghost paragraph. Then it gets spicier because it stops being just contract law and starts being market harm. Wilson alleges UGAA employees told other schools he had a 1.2 million buyout, and he says that was false and used to chill his transfer options. That's why you see tortious interference and defamation claims, because in this ecosystem, your reputation isn't vibes, it's money, it's offers, it's leverage. And timing matters. Wilson entered the portal again on January 6th after a Missouri season where he posted 9 sacks. So if this dispute scares schools off or even slows his recruitment, that becomes part of the damages story, not just background noise. Bottom line, this case is testing whether NIL agreements become transfer taxes, exit fees dressed up as liquidation damages, and whether schools can force disputes into arbitration with sloppy drafting and still win. If UGAA, oh my goodness, I was just say, if UGAA wins, the portal starts feeling like it comes with a checkout lane. If Wilson wins, these penalty style NIL terms start looking legally radioactive. That's the fast break. Tonight's episode is the full breakdown, facts, filings, and what it means for the next wave of NIL disputes.